What's up, man? We got Call 187 in the house. How you
What's
doing,
up,
man?
You know, shoot, I'm blessed, man. Trying to always keep paint where it ain't, man. You know, how about yourself?
We're doing good, man. We're doing
all right.
Thank you for coming out, man.
No problem. Glad to be here.
And my voice, a little under the weather, but we'll make through it.
It's that time of the year for you to be under the weather.
So before we get into it, I heard you're actually the nephew of the late Willie Hutch.
Yeah.
So, like, is this something, like, because I heard Cocaine's father was, like...
Jerry Long.
He was in, like, Motown or something?
Yeah, all my dad, which is Richard Hutch, and his dad, and then my uncle Willie, they were all writers, producers, and artists on Motown.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So were those guys some of your musical influences?
Oh, totally, man. I mean, for me, my uncle and my father was high in my life as far as influence is concerned. Just everything that they did, how I orchestrate music. I've been studying, because I'm a musician first, you know. So I studied music since I was like 7 years old. So, and then from there, you know, I just, you know, caught the bug from them making records and hanging out in studios when I was hella little and, you know, developing my own thing as I became a teenager and getting into hip hop. So definitely a high influence. When you hear funk, reason why my stuff is funky is because my dad and my uncle.
Wow,
you know, a lot. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was doing a little research, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, my dad, he wrote for the Jacksons, Commodores, the Miracles, and you know all the stuff my uncle did, and he also co-wrote with my uncle. So
oh wow,
yeah. So
let's get into like so how'd you get in? Well, no, before we get into that, so talk to me about growing up in Pomona.
Okay,
how was that?
I was cool. I mean, you know, I'm from a city that's far enough to be from the city, but still function like L.A. It's the last city in L.A. County, so everybody is turned up basically like L.A. people, but it's more laid back. Like I said, I was more into music, and at the time, you know, being in high school, I ended up meeting DJ Chaos in high school and KMG in high school. We met in high school. Well, middle school, high school, you know, junior high school. So it was shit for me. I mean, growing up in Pomona, because I got the best of both worlds. I got like the city life, but not be in the city, but still have the same theory of like how everything goes on in the city and still being connected. You know, so it's it's real cool because you know Pomona's more like it's a working class town.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's a lot of it's a lot of blue collar. You know, it's that. You know, sun up to sundown, everybody go getting their grind on type of, you know, philosophy out there.
Yeah.
So like I said, I was fortunate to grow up in a humble place.
Yeah.
You know, where everybody know your first and your last name, even if you got a nickname, a bunch of them.
So talk to me how you got into like the hip hop game.
Well, you know, like the mid '80s, you know, me, KMG, DJ Chaos, we started hustling with a lot of our homies, you know, and we developed Above the Law from just the hustle. Like we was on the streets hustling. I always was in music heavy. They were always in the music heavy. So what we did, we took our D money and we started investing into going to the studios. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever extra we can make without getting a whip or getting some rims or getting some jewelry. We put it into the studio and we developed. It took us maybe about a year and a half, 2 years to develop, you know, the sound of Above the Law, the first sound, Livin Like Hustlers album. And then from there, we were introduced to Laylaw through another one of our cohorts that we hustle with, Gomac. And my boy Dooley, rest in peace, he's DJ Chaos' cousin, and they were best friends at the time, him and Gomac. And Laylaw, he had just signed on with Dre and Eric to develop. They were developing Ruthless Records, and then we shot them a Livin Like Hustlers demo, and from there, man, history, bro.
So N.W.A's out, they're doing their thing.
Yeah, they would. Well, Straight Outta Compton had just dropped, and it just exploded. Easy Does It has just exploded, and at the time, right before when they were interested in signing us, they was about to go on Straight Outta Compton tour.
Okay.
We was mad in the streets hustling, man, getting cake, man. It's the 80s, man, so we getting plenty money at the time. So we weren't really paying no mind. We was like, okay, we just gonna keep hustling and keep making music, you know? So finally, you know, the word on the streets was like, we was the hot niggas, you know what I mean? So Eazy and Dre hit us from the Straight Outta Compton tour and was like, hey, man, you know, y'all need to chill, man. Y'all selling dope. Y'all out there wilding. You know, we trying to sign y'all. And y'all gonna be in prison by the time we get off this tour. So they called us out on tour, sat us down, chopped it up with us, let us know they were really serious, and they signed us, you know, from there. They got off tour, we went in, and I was already developing Livin Like Hustlers, me, KMG, and DJ Chaos. We already was developing it. And then AKE and Going Back, they had a couple of records, which was Ballin' and Flow On, and they added to that, and then we just became Above the Law, the clique, the group. And then when Dre came home, I went in with Dre because I did everything at an 8-track and a 16-track, and we bumped Livin Like Hustlers up at a 24-track, and the rest is history.
So you guys signed to Ruthless. Was Ice Cube still there?
Yeah, Cube was there. It was when they was fresh off Straight Outta Compton tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cube's still there, and then
Cube was there.
You're working with Dre.
Yep. We was finishing Livin Like Hustlers. He had just finished the No One Can Do It Better. No One Can Do It Better album, the Docs album, and then we went right in and we started working on Livin Like Hustlers. You know, and then, which I already had Livin Like Hustlers done like 80%, and me and him just bumped it up. We just, you know, resampled everything, put everything on the grid, and you know, boom, and bumped everything up to 24-track tape.
So by the time you guys get that out, is Cube still there? Or is
he left. He had left by then because that's late 80. That's like 89.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of about to exit. You know. So at that time they would, because when we first got off tour, when we first got off the Straight Outta Compton tour. It was friction, but everybody was still hanging out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so eventually he just said, I'm gonna do my own thing, and that was the end of it, you know. It's funny because Cube was the first person we met in N.W.A.
Okay.
You know, so we always hung out with Cube a lot, you know, early days. Besides Dre and Eazy and Laylaw, but we really had a connection with Cube, and by the time we were finished with the album, he was out the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then did you guys still talk to Cube after that, or was it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It's like back and forth because we felt like Cube should have been on our album, but he felt like he couldn't be involved. You know, he couldn't be doing his own thing and still dealing with Eric.
Yeah.
So it was just awkward, man. You know what I'm saying? And then it just got way crazy, but
like at first it wasn't as bad because he left and he was gonna he went out to New York and did.
One thing I could say about like Cube is really Cube was just trying to do his own thing. He really didn't have no animosity against nobody.
Yeah.
He just was trying to do his own thing, you know, at that particular time. It didn't get crazy until he actually went and did his thing, and then it was like, oh, he stabbed us in the back type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's just how brothers get down. You know what I mean? It's like the thing at Ruthless, which was really cool, is we were all young, and we were all hungry to be successful together. Yeah. We weren't never really tripping off of being apart. You know what I mean? We wanted to do it together. So when a person broke camp that early, it felt like betrayal, basically.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand because we were just developing something and we was winning from it. So you destroy that chemistry, you know, by going off doing your own thing as young people doing it and loving each other as brothers. We feel like, oh, you just being selfish.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, for us, it wasn't like no crazy thing that jumped off when he left. Like, you know, people was like, okay, yeah, you want to do that, going to do that. But this is how we feel.
Yeah.
You know.